Spartacus was a real historical figure, but he's also become a symbol of rebellion and resistance. Spartacus was a Thracian gladiator who led a major slave uprising against the Roman Republic from 73 to 071 BCE. This is known as the Third Servile War. He was originally a soldier captured and sold into slavery and forced to become a gladiator. Along with other gladiators, he escaped from a training school and formed a rebel army composed mainly of escaped slaves. You've probably heard of him because of the 1960 film Spartacus starring Kirk Douglas, where the iconic scene has everyone standing up and declaring, "I am Spartacus," a powerful moment of solidarity. Even though he didn't win in the traditional sense, Spartacus achieved something far bigger. He shook the foundations of an empire and became immortalized as a hero of the oppressed. And here are his 10 best quotes to inspire you to be a true warrior. Number 1. Better to die fighting for freedom than to be a prisoner all the days of your life. This quote expresses the idea that living under oppression, control, or slavery is a fate worse than death. It suggests that a life without freedom, no matter how long, is less valuable than a short life lived with dignity, autonomy, and courage. The quote celebrates bravery, resistance, and the human desire for liberation over survival at any cost. Let's say you are constantly disrespected or emotionally manipulated by a friend or even a family member. You are always criticized, made to feel small, or used for support without ever receiving it in return. You've stayed quiet for years to avoid conflict, thinking, "It's better not to cause drama." Or family is family, I can't just walk away. But over time, you feel like a prisoner in that relationship, always shrinking themselves to keep the peace. Then one day you stand up and say, "I won't let you treat me this way anymore." Or you cut ties completely even though it's painful. It might lead to arguments, isolation, or guilt, but in that moment you choose self-respect and freedom over silence and control. If you don't stand up for your rights, then no one else will. Be strong, courageous, and take what's yours. This life is short, and you need to surround yourself with people who will motivate you, push you, and make you feel positive. The key to your success is your environment and the people you associate yourself with. Number 2, I am not an animal. I am a free man. This quote is a bold declaration of human dignity and identity. It's saying, don't treat me like something less than human. I have thoughts, feelings, values, and the right to live freely just like anyone else. It's often used in situations where someone is being dehumanized, abused, or treated like they're worthless, and they push back, asserting their freedom, self-worth, and humanity. Imagine you are an employee in a company who's always being yelled at by a tough director. Maybe the director never listens, only criticizes, and constantly embarrasses you in front of the rest of the office. Over time, you start feeling small, powerless, almost like you're not even being seen as a person. One day, after being wrongly accused, you finally speak up and says, "I'm a person who's trying. I deserve to be heard and respected." Even if the world treats you like you don't matter, you still have the right to stand tall and say, "I am human. I deserve dignity." Number 3, there is no greater victory than to fall from this world a free man. This quote means that dying free is the greatest triumph a person can achieve, even greater than survival or comfort. It suggests that living with dignity, purpose, and freedom, and staying true to who you are, is more important than just staying alive under oppression, control, or fear. Imagine you are fighting for justice, whether in a protest, a rebellion, or even just standing up for what's right in a dangerous place. You might lose your life for doing so, but you die true to yourself. You didn't give in, sell out, and didn't become what the world tried to force them to be. Number 4, death is the only freedom a slave knows. That's why he's not afraid of it. This quote means that for someone who lives in complete oppression, like a slave, life itself is a prison. They are owned, controlled, silenced, and denied basic human rights. They have no freedom in life, so the only escape from that suffering, that control, that dehumanization is death. So death, instead of being something to fear, becomes something to accept, maybe even welcome, because it's the only way to be free. You stop fearing the idea of dying because living like that is already painful. The thought of death no longer scares you, it frees you mentally and emotionally, because it's the only place where the pain ends. No one is truly free here on earth, and those who truly want to be free have realized that this freedom comes when we actually depart this physical world. Unless you practice the art of meditation. Your senses of the mind keeps you slaved here on earth. What if I told you that you could be free? How is that possible? It's simple. You eliminate the mind of its desires. The equation is so easy but so hard to practice. Once you eliminate your desires, you have complete freedom and you now live in the will of the Father. This is the state where you want to aspire to. This comes with slow growth and builds over time. The only way to achieve this is by practicing the art of mediation and to discipline yourself to constantly still the mind. Your mind constantly wants to move outwards, and you begin to practice centering the mind inwards, which will slowly progress you to be free. Number 5, a man must accept his fate or be destroyed by it. This quote means that when life brings you pain, struggle, or circumstances you can't control, you have two choices. Accept it, not in a weak way, but in a strong, honest way. Face it, work with it, grow from it, or fight it blindly, or deny it, and let it tear you apart mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. It's not about giving up. It's about recognizing reality, adapting to it, and moving forward with strength instead of resistance. Imagine you are a high school athlete, dreams of getting a college scholarship for football. One day, you suffer a serious knee injury that ends their ability to play competitively. If you refuse, you may fall into denial, trying to rush back into the game too soon and re-injure yourselves, and you might become bitter, depressed, or lose motivation in school. But if you accept the fate, you acknowledge that your playing days are over, even if it's painful. Your shift focus may be into coaching, sports medicine, athletic training, or broadcasting, but still staying connected to what you love. By accepting the new reality, they open the door to new paths they never considered, maybe even something more fulfilling in the long run. You as a young adult moves to a new city for a job opportunity, but quickly realizes they feel lonely and out of place. They miss their hometown, friends, and familiar surroundings. If you don't accept the fate, you just isolate yourself, constantly complain and compare everything to your old home. You refuse to explore or meet new people. And if you accept the fate, you recognize that this transition is part of growth and decide to make the best of it. Change is hard, but resisting it makes it harder. Accepting where you are gives you power to grow where you're planted. Always remember that strength isn't always about changing your fate. Sometimes it's about how you live with it. And adapt. The most successful people in the world find a way to adapt and flow like water and move forward. Don't sit there and complain, grumble, moan, and whine. Get up and move forward and adapt. Number 6, there is no justice in the world, not unless we make it. This quote means that justice doesn't happen on its own. The world isn't naturally fair. If people do nothing, injustice will continue. So if we want justice, whether that's fairness, equality, or accountability, we have to actively create it ourselves through action, courage, and standing up for what's right. Imagine you being a student is being bullied at school. Everyone sees it, teachers, classmates, but no one steps in. The student suffers alone. There is no justice. Then one day, a classmate stands up for them. A teacher finally takes it seriously. Students come together and say, "This isn't okay." Together, you create justice by changing the culture, protecting the student, and holding the bully accountable. Another example, imagine you're part of a friend group. But there's one quiet person who's always being left out of group chats, hangouts, and jokes. No one really notices, or they just ignore it. It's not violent or loud, but it's still unfair and hurtful. That person feels invisible. If everyone stays silent, nothing changes and the injustice continues. But one day you decide to speak up. You invited her to join. Next time you mention to the group, "Hey, we've been leaving them out. That's not cool." You treat them with respect and kindness. Suddenly things start shifting, all because you chose to make justice happen, even in a small way. Fairness starts with someone who cares enough to do something even when no one else does. Number 7. I would rather stand with my men and fall than live another day a slave. This quote expresses the power of loyalty, freedom, and dignity. It means, I'd rather fight and die alongside the people I believe in, for a cause I believe in, than survive in chains, living without honor or freedom. It's about choosing freedom and unity, even if it means risking everything, because a life in slavery or silence isn't worth living. Let's say you and your coworkers are being treated unfairly, long hours, no breaks, or unsafe working conditions. People are scared to speak up because they might get fired. But a few of you decide to stand together and demand change, better pay, safety, respect. You know you could lose your job, but you say, I'd rather lose this job standing with my team than stay quiet and be treated like we're nothing. Even if the company fires you, you kept your dignity. You didn't sell your pride to keep a paycheck. You fought for something bigger: respect, fairness, and freedom. Imagine you're part of a strict or traditional family where one of your siblings is constantly blamed, mistreated, or not allowed to speak their truth, maybe about their career, beliefs, or life choices. You could stay silent and stay in your parents' good graces, but you choose to stand by your sibling, to defend them, support their choices, and speak up when no one else will. But you say, I'd rather stand with them and face the consequences than pretend everything's okay and stay silent. A life without freedom, voice, or respect, even if it's safe, isn't worth more than fighting for what's right. Number 8. We are Romans only in armor stolen from the corpses of our enemies. We are free men. This quote means, we may look like Romans, but we are not one of them. We are no longer slaves. We are free because we fought for it. Another example. Imagine you used to follow every fashion trend to fit in, constantly buying the latest clothes or accessories just to keep up with what others think is cool. Over time, you start realizing the trends aren't truly theirs. They were just copying others to fit in. You stop chasing the latest brands or styles just to please others. Instead, you start creating your own unique style. You may still wear elements of current trends, but you mix them with your own personal flair. You might wear the armor of trends, but if you start using those tools for your own voice, you're free. Number 9. The only courage that matters is the kind that gets you from one moment to the next. This means that true courage isn't about dramatic heroics or big speeches. It's about the quiet, steady strength to keep going, especially when life feels overwhelming. It's not about conquering the whole mountain, but taking the next step even when you're tired, scared, or uncertain. For example, you're dealing with anxiety and find it hard to get out of bed, go to work, or even talk to people. The future feels too big and scary to handle. So when you look at the end goal, break it down into small pieces. You might feel like a failure for not fixing everything, but don't forget Rome was not built in a day. So if you use moment-to-moment courage, you celebrate small wins, getting to work, answering an email, making a phone call, even if it's hard. Maybe you seek help from a therapist or support group, not all in one day, but step by step. Remember that tiny acts of courage, done repeatedly, build real strength. Some days just showing up is the bravest thing you can do. You just went through a painful breakup after years of being with someone they thought was the one. The future you pictured, marriage, kids, growing old together, is suddenly gone. You feel lost, empty, and like they'll never be okay again. You might feel pressure to move on quickly or act like you're fine. You may avoid emotions, bottle it up, or jump into another relationship to escape the pain, and this could lead to emotional burnout or repeat unhealthy cycles. But if you use moment-to-moment courage, you take it hour by hour, just get out of bed, just make coffee, just breathe. You allow yourself to cry, miss the person, and feel it without judgment. Day by day, you slowly build new routines, rediscover your own identity, and eventually feel whole again. Courage doesn't always look strong. Sometimes it's sitting with pain without running away. And sometimes surviving one hard moment leads to the strength to face the next. Number 10. It's not about living without fear, but facing it head on. This means real bravery isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing to act despite the fear. Everyone feels afraid sometimes of failure, rejection, change, or the unknown. But courage is about not letting that fear control you. You is terrified of public speaking but need to give a presentation for work. If you avoid fear, like skip the presentation, call in sick, or ask someone else to do it, the result will be you might feel relief short-term but miss out on growth or career opportunities. But if you face it head-on, like you practice in front of a mirror or friends, learn calming techniques, and do the presentation, even with shaky hands and a racing heart, resulting you gaining more confidence and realize fear didn't stop you. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be willing to feel fear and move anyway. That's real strength. Remember, where you feel fear is where you see growth occurring. Step into the fear and embrace it. You have been in the same job for 10+ years. It's stable, but you're deeply unhappy, burned out, uninspired, or feeling stuck. You've always dreamed of doing something else, maybe teaching, design, coding, or opening a small business, but fear creeps in. What if I fail? What will people think? Or is it too late to start over? If you avoid the fear, you stay put, telling yourselves it's too risky or not the right time. Years pass and you feel more regret than relief. The dream fades and resentment quietly grows. But if you face it head on, you start small steps like taking evening classes, freelancing, or researching new fields. You talk to others who've made similar changes, building confidence and clarity. It's tough at first, but it brings fulfillment, energy, and pride in knowing you didn't let fear win. Fear is a sign you're stepping into something meaningful. It doesn't mean stop. It means keeping going with eyes open, heart racing, and courage leading the way. Please share this video with someone who you feel may benefit. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And thank you for watching.